Hi, my name is Harold White, and I'm going to be doing my short answer essay question for my IE application. And first, I'm going to start off with question C. Describe a time when you took a great risk, and what was the outcome of this risk? Okay. Time when I took a great risk was early in my career at Deloitte and Touche. I was assigned from a manager a PowerPoint presentation. And with this presentation, the only thing I needed to do, or they asked me to, was to add on pictures. And they told me all the wording was fine, nothing else needed to be changed. All I needed to do was add pictures to the presentation. Now, this presentation was somewhat of a bid to bring on a new client. This is how Deloitte bids on their clients. They put together proposals and presentations. And so I got to going through the PowerPoint. The manager dropped it off at my desk. And I noticed that I felt like it really needed more than pictures. So I started to add words, add slides. I started to delete some of the other slides because I felt they were repetitive. But all in all, as I was doing this, I was doing research on the company. I was making sure that I had something to back it up and not just going off the way I felt. So I did research on the company. I looked at their financials, and I noticed that we should attack, and I felt that if we wanted this client, that we should attack it at this way instead of the way we were actually going for the client. Because I knew that we were, this is the big four, we're bidding against KPMG, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Ernst & Young. So I got to doing all these things to the PowerPoint. Once the manager checked back up on me for the PowerPoint, I explained to him, like, as I know you only asked for me to add pictures, but as I was going through the PowerPoint, I felt that I did research on the company, and I think that some of these slides were repetitive, and we should have touched on this point because this is the most relevant concept that they're going against right now as a company with the merger and acquisition. And long story short, he hated it. He was just like, you should have just kept it the same way, the way it was. Only thing you had to do, or I asked you to do, was to add pictures to it. So we're not going to be able to deliver this to the partner today. It was due at the end of the day. So he was like, you know what? I have a meeting with the partner in an hour. I want you to show up at the meeting as well. And we need to explain to him why this deliverable will not be finished today. So we go to the meeting. I'm nervous because I'm like, oh man, I really messed this up. I should have just added the pictures. I don't know what I was thinking. And then as we get into the office, he explains to the partner, like, hey, I asked Harold to do this, to just add pictures, but he wouldn't change your wording. So I found out that there was actually the partner's wording, and that everything else was done by the partner. So it was kind of a good aspect already but as he was going through the PowerPoint, he took a look at the PowerPoint. He's like, well, I actually like the changes he made. And then the manager's like, wait, what? And I'm like, huh? So he actually liked the changes that I made within the PowerPoint. He said he liked the fact that I actually had reasoning on why I did these changes and the way I backed it up and did the research for the PowerPoint. So he said the PowerPoint was fine. And then the manager looks at me, he's like, you're lucky. I'm like, thank you. At first I was scared. I thought I was going to get fired that day. I was in my first year at Deloitte, so doing things like that was a major risk because come to find out the partner had already did his final touches on the presentation. And the changes I made was after the partner's final touches. So the fact that he actually went with the changes I made, the outcome became, like as a reward. All long story short, we got the client. The client is now a Deloitte client, but he used the presentation, but it was a risk in the beginning, and that could have easily went downhill. But it became a success, and after that presentation, after that time, I was able to see how the whole process works on how Deloitte brings in new clients. And the partner ended up having a liking to me, and he staffed me on the rest of his engagements. And so he actually became a mentor for me because he likes that. He told me he liked that I was a thinker and I just didn't go through like the motions with things. So he ended up being a great mentor for me until still to this day. And that story was a success, but at the end of the day, it could have easily been a failure. And it was a risk that I took early on in my career that I'm glad it went the right way. Well, that's my story for question C. Thank you.